Welcome to Odyssey's Influencer Insights, your go-to place for anything influencers. Let's jump right in. Hey everyone, welcome back to Odyssey's Influencer Insights. Today, I'm excited to introduce Polina Galkina, a travel photographer, solo traveler, and lifestyle content creator. She's carved out a unique niche in outdoor exploration, traveling solo to 11 countries, and recently launching her mindfulness journal, Western Americana. We're going to dive into her journey and hear her advice for aspiring influencers. Polina, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Ezra. Nice to finally meet you face to
Yeah,
face.
yeah, it's great to meet you too. We've done a couple of collaborations now,
Yeah,
but all over email, so it's great to see you face to face. Very
yes.
exciting. So before we dive into the nitty-gritty, you have a very interesting background. You're a very interesting person as I've, through this interview, kind of done more research. I want to hear a little bit more about what brought you to LA. You're now based in LA, but you grew up in Russia and then moved to Utah for university. Can you just tell me a little bit about your upbringing and what brought you to where you are now?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as you mentioned, I grew up in Russia and I had a few trips to the US at 18 and at 19, and I really fell in love with the country and then decided to move for school in Utah. And Utah have a special place in my heart because that's where my journey of photographer and also Instagram influencer started. Life just brought me to Los Angeles as I always crave a bigger city. And it's gonna be 8 years here. I still can't get enough of LA. It's a very dynamic place. You can meet all kinds of people here. Everybody have aspiration. It's very beautiful area too. You always feel close to nature. So it will be hard to leave. So I hope it will not happen soon.
And so, for your content creation and photography, you said that you kind of started that when you went to Utah. In Russia, were you doing any photography, or was that really just when you came for school?
Yeah, I always had a creative eye. I painted in Russia a lot, but in Utah, being surrounded by the beautiful landscapes, really, like I really started to. I bought a camera and I started using it. So, and after that, you couldn't stop me.
But what I see on your Instagram, you do a lot of different things. You do the solo travel, you do outdoor exploration and lifestyle content. What kind of got you into that niche? Was it in Utah? I guess the nature there, I've been before, it's absolutely beautiful. So you're taking these photos and then you kind of fell into that niche and kind of built from there. What was that like?
Yeah, honestly, being digital creator wasn't really a thing back then. At least I
Hmm.
was not realizing that it's where I'm going. I used Instagram as just kind of creative playground and shared the beautiful views I saw in front of me right there. I lived near Zion National Park, and that
Amazing.
place was just amazing. And the nature always have a like I have strong connection with nature photography, and I'm sure I'll be keep shooting this as the years go by. But my Instagram definitely changed from just being focused on Utah. It's now different states, different countries, and I started to focus more on sharing itineraries, giving some ideas for trips to people. And alongside that, I started to do lifestyle photography as well. And actually, one of my favorite things to do is to create UGC for brands or sponsored posts. Like I really enjoy working with brands and being creative in showing their product. I do enjoy that a lot.
A couple of questions that I have from that. The first is, so the niche that you're in, the travel space, it's an amazing niche. When I think of, content creators, if I were to be a content creator, it seems like that travel outdoor niche is the best. You get to go on adventures and take photos and videos and just enjoying your time and being out in nature. At the same time, I also see that there's a lot of creators that are in that space, right? What would you recommend to someone that wanted to be in travel, but also understands that obviously it's important to stand out? So how do you succeed there?
content, people will be drawn to it. And my advice will be don't be scared, just go for it, honestly.
You also mentioned working with brands, both on your own posts. Obviously, you have brands that I see that you're posting on your own feed as well as UGC. For someone that wants to kind of break into that, what would be your recommendations, both for the UGC content as well as that? By the way, I'm sorry, my dog is barking a little bit, so
It's cute.
I apologize for that.
No, what kind of dog you have?
I have a border terrier. If you're familiar,
Oh,
he's a little
yeah.
small dog, very energetic, very
I love
loud.
that.
No.
Cute, cute. Good question about the brand collaborations. As I treat my Instagram more like a business nowadays, this is kind of what drives me to be present on daily basis because it's not easy after 8 years of doing that. I would say if you're just starting out and you brands are not coming to you as I'm experiencing personally, I don't do outreach. I would say put the portfolio together, like write about what you can offer different, and maybe if you have zero right now to show in your portfolio, just be creative and do photography or videography with the brands that you truly admire. Put them on a media kit and start outreach with a professional email, reaching out to marketing, departments, and something will, I'm sure, happens because brands right now reaching out, they not really focused on the amount of followers. They reaching out because they love your content, and if they see a quality work, they will be working with you.
What have you found can be effective to kind of make that content appealing, make your bio appealing so that brands, when they look at your content, think that this is someone that they'd want to work with?
That's a good question. I think what helps me, because I work in marketing industry, I work for marketing agency. So when I receive a project, I always see it from perspective of the brands. There's got to be, CTA, and there's got to be like a just present the product in the best way. I think taking a role of somebody, it's like imagine it's your this product is your baby and you want to show it off in the best way and talk about it with love and creativity that you have. And I think it will be, the people notice and respond to the ads that I create where they see my natural, genuine, like excitement about it. That's what I noticed, at least. Like you have to treat it personally, I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious how exactly you were able to become such an amazing content creator. How exactly did you, develop those skills to where you are now?
Well, thank you for the compliment. It's work in
Or,
progress for me. A work in
no, no,
progress.
I love your content, truly.
Thank you. Uh, practice makes it perfect. I always say everything is difficult till it becomes easy. So I love growth, and I like this like social media in general, and content creation is a topic that I truly enjoy. So I love spending time learning about it and like testing out different things. And I'm not looking at metrics when I do that. I just focus on how I, if it's beautiful authentically, I put it out. And if the metrics don't show it to like the algorithm didn't push it through, I don't get upset about it. I'm just gonna keep creating. So I would say don't get discouraged if you don't see the results you want immediately, and just focus on the creativity, because like I think that's what we here for, everybody in general, even if you're not digital creator. Being creative is part of our life. It helps with overall well-being, helps with problem solving skills. It's like it helps with mental health, like being creative. And this is just another way of being creative. That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's great advice. I know, especially the discouraging thing. I know that a lot of people, they're posting, they're seeing other people's success, and so I really like just kind of
Yeah.
being true to your creative self, understanding your own content, and just knowing that it doesn't always come easy. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Um,
And also not comparing yourself to others.
mhm.
That's also important because you can get in a weird space where it will stop you from creating. But like it's important to think why you here, why you on this platform, why you creating. And I ask this question myself a lot. I don't do it for my ego. I don't do it for to be a popular or anything. Sometimes I meet people I don't even mention that I have, following because it's not part of my identity, to be honest. Um, but if you just here to create and show off your skills and authenticity just for people's entertainment, I think that mentality helps with no matter what the metrics are, no matter if you posted 100 videos and you don't see the metrics you want, it will not stop you from creating more because you're here for yourself, you're here for development, growth.
That's amazing advice.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I want to hear a little bit more about what you're doing. So it seems like you're doing a lot, but another thing that I'm going to say along with the content creation is I see that you're also an author. You had a new book that came out recently, Western Americana. Um, First, what got you into journaling? Because it's a journal type of book, and what got you inspired to write it?
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. I
Yeah.
love that journal, my little journal. I've been journaling here and there since I was a teen, but during COVID, gratitude journaling really helped me during the challenging times for a lot of people. It's been and at the same time during those times, I was working on improving my morning routine. So I noticed when I jump on the phone and start scrolling, it kind of doesn't contribute to my growth. And I started to incorporate things that actually make me focus on things that are important to me. And since I incorporated that, I noticed I became more productive. I finished a lot of goals I set for myself. So I came out of COVID with a lot of projects done and feeling great. And I kind of feel like journaling helped me, and it was kind of the start of it. And that's how Western Americana was born, honestly. I wanted to help people to start journaling. So it's a basic setup for a journal for somebody who never done it and just want to start. And it is created to replace the habit of immediately going for your phone when you open your eyes. And instead, to help you wake up, you go for a journal. And there's three parts to it. There will be obviously a question for you each day, and then there will be a visual element and some poetry element. And the concept of it is a little different. You go through the whole journal in a month, and then you circle back and you come back to page one and answer the question again. And in the end, in 12 months, you will have a sort of fingerprint of your year, of your thoughts. And it's always fun to look back to, I thought. The idea of this journal, I wrote it with my creative partner. She wrote haikus for my photography there. And the idea, we always wanted to work together and thought it would be a coffee book, but I realized that I wanted to create something that people can make their own. And that's why we publish Western Americana as a journal. And we're currently working on a new versions of it. So
Huh?
I'm very excited to share that with people soon.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. Yeah, I feel like as you're saying that, I can definitely relate. A lot of times I have a bad habit where the first thing that I do when I wake up is go to my phone. It's right there. What else am I
Yeah,
gonna do? So I
it's
feel like
natural. Hmm.
exactly like you're saying, having a book like this would be amazing. I mean, I think I need this book. Where can people find it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon and it's also on Barnes and Nobles. I have the links in on my website, rockandrollgirl.com.
Amazing.
But I'm
Well,
happy to send you a copy so
yeah,
you
yeah.
got it.
Oh, thank you. No, this honestly truly seems amazing. What I'm kind of curious, so you've been doing content creation for a while. What's the process been like for creating this book, your first book as an author? Like, what's that been like?
Oh, it's a lot of learning because I never like it was self-published book, so I never done anything like this. But thankfully for YouTube, you can do anything nowadays. Yeah, it's not that complicated. It just takes a lot of time and dedication. And I think dedication is the key for anything. You know, even having a successful social platform, you have to be very dedicated. A lot of people get really excited about this, but a month later, they don't see results and they kind of want to stop. And I totally get it. But I believe that in anything we do in life, if you really determined and you see a goal in front of you and just go for it, you'll get there. And the same was with the book. It's got published.
That's amazing. Yeah, congrats again.
Thanks.
And so you touched on in the book as well as in your content, you do a lot of travel, right? You said that
Hmm.
at first it was mostly photography kind of around Utah, and then you started doing more trips, solo trips, itineraries, things like that. Can you tell me a little bit about your travels, where you've been, your favorite places? Just hearing about that.
Yeah, of course. I kind of live this nomad life. I work remote, so I can work from anywhere, and it's been awesome. I really love South America, so if I have opportunity, I always explore a new country there. Uh, and Europe also fun. It's like the world is so big, so much to see. I can't like every time I come home, I always feel like okay, it's good to be home. And then a week later, I was like, okay, where's next? Let's go. And some of my favorite places I've been would be obviously more outdoorsy places like Patagonia really impressed me. And like I love California. Exploring California has been one of my favorite like the places on earth, I would say. Peru also very surprised me with the landscapes. It's very diverse. I love volcanoes, so like Central America with like Costa Rica and Guatemala there. There's a lot of fun stuff there. So I would definitely, if you into outdoors, I mean, the Central America, I would highly recommend. Check it out.
That's amazing. Yeah, I need to go to Central America. I've always wanted. I did a lot of travel this summer, and one of the places that I went to was Peru. And I completely agree. I was blown away by how diverse it was. The first week, I was in the Amazon. The second week, I was in the mountains hiking the Salcantay Trail to Machu Picchu. And then
Same.
later in the month, I'm in the desert. So it really seemed like it had it all. That's the only place in South America I've been, but I really want to go back. It's
It
truly
was,
amazing.
yeah, it's a good choice. You know, Peru was the first country in South America for me too, and
Nice.
since like it, what made me fall in love with this continent. So I'm really excited that you went. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's amazing. I'm really hoping, yeah, sometime soon I can explore another country. And
Hmm.
another thing I'm curious about is you say that you're a digital nomad. So if let's say you're looking not just for exploration, but actually to work in a certain location, was there a location that stood out and you'd say that you recommend for digital nomads to kind of settle down there?
See, that's not an easy. I would say Europe is really good because you always can find solid internet connection.
Hmm.
Like that's
Which is very important. Yeah.
yeah, it's very important. I also love working LA hours in Europe because you kind of
Mm,
explore during the day and then you work a little bit to the night. But then you know, it's like kind of perfect. You have a full day pretty much, and then you work full day. I mean, it's get exhausted after a while, but Europe, yeah, I would say like Europe is really fun place to explore while you work.
that's amazing. Yeah, I'm thinking of actually doing some digital nomading in Asia
Fun.
in a couple months. The only thing I'm worried about is the time difference because Asia's even
Yeah,
worse. I think it's
it's
like
worse.
14, 16 hours or something.
Yeah.
So either get up super early or go to bed super late. So it might be a bit more of an issue, but
Yeah.
excited for
I
that for sure.
I did that in Vietnam. It was, oh man, that week I was like a squeezed lemon after that. I can't function. Yeah, Asia would be difficult with our time zone
hmm
here.
I guess you just kind of got to force yourself to focus
Yeah.
on one of the time zones and then just really stick to it. And then eventually, I guess, just like get used to it.
But I hope everything goes well for you there.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you. I'm
excited
very
to
excited.
keep me posted.
Is there a hidden gem that you've discovered that you think isn't really talked about, like on most other content creator travel blogs? You don't really see it, but you think that it really deserves the hype and people should visit, but they just don't.
Yeah, I love that question. What I would stick with Patagonia because that area just impressed me so much, and I did W track, which is very popular. But then when I started to explore a more remote Chile and Patagonia, I noticed there was not many people there. And one
Hmm.
of the places I stumbled upon was Marble Caves, and that was really impressive. Like I have never seen anything like this. Imagine giant, delicate rocks just standing in the middle of the lake. And it's the biggest lake in Chile. It's
Wow.
called General Carrera. It's beautiful as on its own, but then there's this massive rocks and they have a just little green and little blue lines, and it's also white. It's just absolutely incredible. You kayak to it and you kayak through it. There's literally caves to kayak through. It was really impressive. It just really impressed me, and I would recommend to check it out if you have a chance in Chile.
That's amazing. Well, hopefully one day I will, and I'll keep you posted what I do because that seems
Please.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And a question I have going back to your content, being an influencer and the content creation with that is how does someone balance um, like capturing aspects of your life? Because for your job, it's important to share a lot with your Instagram, what you're doing, your stories, but you also want to maintain privacy, right? How exactly for someone that kind of isn't sure what they should post, what they shouldn't, how to maintain that balance? What have you found that works, and what would you recommend?
My content to I think about my follower and what they would be interested in and provide that information. So I focus on the beautiful destination, some insights for inspiration or just guiding if they thinking about visiting that place, but keep all the my private life to myself, which seems very liberating to me. It's nice to have some things just for me. I have the days where I don't create content, and it's really difficult sometimes because I always see something beautiful. It's like I gotta record it. It's gonna be great for a reel. But then I stopped myself and I was like, no, this is just for me. There's no phone. It's just me enjoying it, and it feels like a reward nowadays because after 8 years of doing that, it just feels like you have to have boundaries. And I don't know, I love Rock and Roll Girl, but it's not captures like full me. I'm so much more than that, I think.
Yeah,
So,
that's great advice. I feel like it is tough sometimes, especially when you're starting out and you want to be a content creator to kind of just post everything, just trying to be consistent. But I feel like it is important, like you're saying, to still keep those important aspects of your life or personal life to yourself and also not filming everything because sometimes you just want to enjoy yourself. So I think that's great. And you mentioned the day to day. I'm kind of curious what I'm assuming a day in the life is constantly for someone in your career, every day is different, right? But can you share a little bit about kind of what a day in the life is like for you?
yeah, it could be. There's two Polinas. One is Polina nomad in different country and Polina at home. So when I'm at home, I am really productive. I schedule post, like I plan it out, I write copy, like I go into, like I set a time to be creative visually and writing. It's two different, I feel like two different types of brain working. I'm not naturally a writer, so I always have like just non-judging writing time, and then there's a judge that comes in and start fixing everything after a while. And then visually, yeah, I definitely set up a lot of time just to edit pictures, so make a video. It's two different creative aspects for me. So when I'm at home, I work a lot. I set myself up for success for upcoming trip. So I make sure everything is set because I try to be present on Instagram on daily. And then once I'm on the trip, it's just maintaining, just surviving. I am like there will be long days. I constantly I'm shooting, and then I also have my day-to-day work and but pretty much I'm trying to at the same time enjoy the place and capture everything, and then also be a responsible adult at my job. So there's to me, but I think the most important is to be organized. I love daily planning. I have a monthly planning, weekly planning, and daily planning. You can't keep everything in your head, so write it all down. If you don't like writing, there's different apps for it, but that's what keeps me pretty much going. The keep everything like written down, the due dates. It's important.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like it would be hard to stay organized when you're kind of balancing staying at home and then also traveling all the time. So I guess you really gotta kind of write everything down, see it in front of you so you know when you're leaving, what you have to do before you go, what you have to do in advance. It's probably a lot of moving around. So it's fun, but I guess a little stressful there too.
It is. Traveling solo is really challenging, actually, especially when you go for a short period of time, because you kind of have to mentally prepare and like, I'm going by myself to a new country. I don't know the language. Let's just do it. We'll figure out, download the map, don't forget. And then you coming back and you feel just, I can do it. This is so like, so inspired. Like it's easy. I want to go again. And then a few weeks go by and it's the fear again comes back, and you start worrying that because it's not easy. It takes a lot out of you, honestly.
Hmm. And what would you say to someone that wants to solo travel but has never done that? Maybe they've never traveled outside of their country or their town or their
Hmm.
city. From someone that's done that many times, what would you say to someone that's kind of scared to do it and doesn't know if they want to take the leap?
That's a good question because I get that question asked a lot on Instagram. Um, I I can say with my testimonial that it's the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself, for your confidence, to learn to make your own decision, to know what you want, and be the one who's responsible for you. And when you live around people, you sometimes don't even know what you like to eat because you just always go with somebody else's option.
Hmm.
And if you want to, you have this desire to go by yourself somewhere, I would say start with somewhere that seems more comfortable. Choose a country that is very safe for solo, like if especially for female, like
Hmm.
look it up, which country is safe for female travelers, and then see how it goes. I definitely have a bunch of recommendations for people who like trying to get into it, and I can talk about it forever. But if to keep it short is choose a safe location, maybe choose a shorter period of time, and maybe read up more on this to make you feel better. I am at that point where I don't even know what's my plan. I just show up and then I was like, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the more you do, the more comfortable you get. And I definitely see what you're saying. I'm starting to feel like I'm there. I probably should be doing more planning, but yeah, my last travel, I went with some of it was solo and some of it was with friends. And I feel like when I was by myself, I actually did more planning. But when I was with friends, we kind of just showed up and then figured it out as we went. Um,
I love that.
but I think it's good
That's
to have,
adventure.
yeah, a
Yeah.
mix of both for sure.
Yeah. I also say people associate solo traveling with maybe feeling lonely. And I would say I meet the most beautiful people when I'm traveling. When you on your own, there's like you just naturally like express the energy of, like you present and people connect with it really easily. Uh, I would say if you worry about being lonely, don't worry because there is a lot of solo travelers as well who would love to chat and learn from your experience and get advice like where to go and they're happy to share. So I would say you will just make new friends with that.
And what would you say you found the most helpful tip for meeting people solo?
Uh, it okay, so for example, my favorite thing when I meet a solo traveler is to ask where would they recommend to go next.
Hmm.
I get my list, my ideas for next travels is it's literally from people I meet and they tell me with their eyes are all shining and excited to tell me you should go here and you go there. And it's true. I went pretty much to all of the destinations that solo travelers recommend me and I loved it too. So yeah, I think recommendations for the next adventure is my favorite tip from a solo traveler that I
That's a
think,
great tip. I feel like that
yeah.
would always work because people are always excited for where they've been and they want to share it with other people. And it's just an easy way to start speaking. From what I
Yeah.
found is everyone's so friendly when they travel, especially in places like
Yes.
hostels, restaurants. People just
Yes.
want to meet other like-minded people.
Yes. And yeah, I'm so glad that you experienced the same because I always think about solo travel or something like it warms my heart. It's not scary to me.
Hmm.
So I'm
And
glad.
that lonely thing, just one thing to touch on that as well is one thing I've noticed because, yeah, you might think that solo traveling, you'll be lonely. But what I found is that sometimes you can actually meet even more people solo traveling than traveling in groups. Because what I found is that when I was with my group of friends, a lot of times, even in hostels where it's a social place and people are meeting each other, oftentimes we just kind of stay with each other because there's four of us. It's easy. It's kind of force a good number to just hang out by ourselves. But then when at some point we split up and I was traveling by myself, I was meeting way more people because, I didn't have that group, I guess, to fall back on. And I was more interested in making connections, spending time with other people. So I've actually found from doing both that I've met a lot more people solo traveling, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. I still keep in touch with people I met like years ago on solo trips. It's awesome. Yeah, all over the world. You definitely have different attitude when you travel in like with a partner or in a group of more people. You kind of just like really focused on each other, and that prevents like the just the energy is different. I don't know how else to describe it
Hmm.
because it's something more internal, people ready to connect when you just yourself ready to connect, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Completely agree. I guess, yeah, to some extent, you just got to live it, but whoever's listening that wants to solo travel hasn't, maybe a little concerned, definitely do it. Yeah, you won't regret it. It's going to be an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I want to kind of switch it to a different topic now. A point of this podcast, as well, as to hopefully teach business owners more about influencer marketing because working on the business side, I talk to a lot of businesses as well as influencers and content creators, and a lot of businesses, especially maybe run by older folks that aren't as kind of tapped into social media or are just newer and aren't as aware of social media. What can you tell them about influencer marketing as someone that is an influencer? What is something that businesses should understand about influencers and the influencer industry?
Mm-hmm. Good question. Well, as someone who works on kind of both sides, I
Mhm.
say there's a lot of potential in influencer marketing. Oh, I feel like we're moving away from the traditional marketing, like advertisement, kind of have we already expect it to be entertaining nowadays. And I feel like the best way to to engage your audience is through influencers, because they constantly, like, they brainstorming how to make their content engaging, and then when they incorporate your brand into it, the target audience responds naturally to it. It's not the same as seeing in the yellow pages your advertisement. It's like so much more engagement you get from it. And for brands, I would recommend, if they love the content they see, like, I would recommend to amplify it, because sometimes you have the organic reach, but with just a few hundreds boosting it, you can reach so much more. Like, don't waste that creativity and try to reach as much as possible. Yeah, just with a little more investment, you can get results that, of a really big budget on advertisement. So highly recommend use influencers. But yeah, seriously, I hire influencers sometimes myself, and see such a positive, just, how people react to it. They love real people.
That's great. Someone that works in the industry as well. I completely agree with everything you're saying there.
Yay.
And one last question on this topic. I'm kind of curious. Where do you think influencer marketing is heading in the next like 5 to 10 years? Because as you're saying, previous marketing, older marketing, you saw marketing in newspapers, maybe as well online, like Google ads, Facebook ads. There's been all type of different marketing over the last couple decades, and now we're seeing a lot more influencer marketing and seeing great results, obviously. Where do you see influencer marketing over the next 10 years? Have you thought about that?
I have not, but I'm thinking about it now. I think it's everything seems to getting faster as the time goes by. Like watching movies from 90s, the intro is so slow. Now we jump right into action. So I feel like with content, the videos will be shorter, I guess. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of information and then it's over. So I feel like it will not, the creativity part will stay. I think it will just be faster. That's how but we'll see. I hope I'm wrong, because I feel like we receive so much information. There's kind of already a cut out. Some people say like, I need to take a break from social media. And I would say, yes, you should, because that's a lot. So I mean, it will be interesting to watch. I'm curious myself. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm very interested. Only one way to know. We'll see in the next decade or so. But I do agree with what you're saying. I see on social media, it seems that people's attention spans have gone down. So longer form content and like what you're saying with the intros and stuff, it used to be, I guess, not as important, or people would had it slower. But now, to get someone's attention, you got to hook them right away. It just keeps getting faster and faster and faster. So it's really interesting to see what it's going to be like in the future.
Actually, another thing like to think about is AI. There's so many things now getting automated, and I feel like people will crave authenticity more than anything soon, because I even noticed if I see something made with AI, my interest like drops, because I want the real person, I want the real person to write something. I want the real person to say something. Maybe even making mistakes would be appreciated more, than polished content. I feel like we could revert back to being like very human. I love polished content. That's what I provide for on my Instagram. I spend a lot of time making it beautiful, but maybe it will change, and it will be more raw type of content. So we'll see.
Do you, out of curiosity, hearing that, because obviously over the last year or so, AI has been a big disturber for pretty much every industry. Do you think that AI could have a negative impact on content creation and influencers?
Yes and no. I think it's a great help,
Hmm.
But I don't think we should use it as just solely like creating content for you. I think if you use your authenticity and then use AI tools as help to maybe improve something, then it works. But if you don't want to work, you don't want to put anything of your own, you just like write something for me, create the picture for me. This is anybody can do it. There's no you in it. You're just reposting something which is like I don't like in general. It's just boring. It's lazy. Creativity is not. It's opposite of being lazy. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work. You being vulnerable. You question yourself at all times, making minor decisions like should I use this video, should I cut it here, should I use this music. So many decision goes into just creating one reel. And if there's AI who makes it for you just to make your life easier, like I don't want to watch it. I want to watch what you made.
I agree, and I'm hoping that as AI is more um, involved in everybody's life, I hope that people have the same mindset as you and still will want to watch real people because obviously I see a lot of value in that. I'm not trying to watch some AI tell me where to visit either. I'd much rather trust someone like you who's actually been there and is a real person. So I really like to hear that.
Good.
And I've got one last question for you. So, um, what would you say is your biggest piece of advice, or if you had to give one piece of advice for someone that sees what you're doing with your book, with your content creation, influencers, travel, all of that, and wants to follow in your footsteps and one day become an influencer, be a content creator, and kind of do what you're doing? What would you say that would be?
Just go for it. I feel like there are two types of people, the ones who like kind of trying to know everything before starting a project, and the ones that know a little bit and then fake it till you make it. I am kind of in between. I really need to know what I'm talking about before with confidence talk about it. But I also don't like overthinking because I feel like it's the biggest enemy of being productive. So I would say just make the first step. This is the crucial part, doing something. You will not know everything, never, never. Practice makes it perfect, and I don't think we ever reach the perfect. So that's the fun part of life in general. It's testing your skills, growth. This is just another way to become better. I am truly thankful to Instagram for being there to encourage my creativity because I love looking back on my pictures from 8 years ago and see how much I grew from it. And it's always work in progress. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for my skills as well. It's just a place to show off what you've got. So just go for it.
That's amazing advice. Yeah. I think everyone can learn something there. Yeah. No, I'm not going to speak too much on that. I completely agree. Well, Paulina, this has been an incredible conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today. For everyone that's listening, where can they find you online? What are your social handles?
Yeah, my handle is Rock and Rome Girl, and I would love to connect. If you drop me DM, I always happy to have a conversation. Ask me if you want to go somewhere and need trip advice. I'm always here. I love connecting with my followers.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for everyone listening. Go check out Polina. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a review, share it with a friend, and we'll see you in the next episode of Odyssey's Influencer Insights.
Thank you for having me here.